Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 9th day of September, 2024. Well, 9/9, 2024. So 24 is 6 and 2 is 8. So we've got endings and completion here twice, with the 9 being the ninth month and the ninth day. Also spirituality and generosity, so keep that in the back of your mind as I draw the runes here as we begin. Let's see. Let's see if they, if I some days all the runes just stay in my hand and I can't get any of them to drop out. Here we have Ansus. Now Ansus is the fourth rune of the Elder Futhark. This is Odin's rune. This is spirit communication. It's eloquence. It's divine communication. Given that it means the god, but Odin wasn't a god. Odin might have been viewed as one, because of technology and all of that they brought here with them. But as far as actually being a god, no. But it's the idea that you're invoking higher awareness in the interactions you have with other people. Having that type of sort of expressing clarity from a higher purpose or higher awareness, the divinity within, the soul aspect of self within. Let's see what we have here. Oh, where did it go? There it went. All right, let's put these in the order of air or fire, air, water, and earth. There's water. Where's air? Oh, well, we have Rubeus. Now, Rubeus is the complement of Albus. Albus is wisdom and sage and clarity and higher wisdom. So that would be the soul side of this idea. Rubeus is the other side. Rubeus represents an evil influence. It's a misuse of force. It's power. It's violence. Power for power's sake. Could be, down all the way to the end of sadism, and all of it, being a sociopath or a psychopath. So you could look at the Rubeus then as manipulation versus invoking spirit into your interactions and higher consciousness. So this would be very strong ego with somebody who might have an agenda. So either this is probably something where somebody's going to be in a conversation with you that may try to manipulate you, and you've got to stay above it. Or it could be something where you're manipulating, and the best choice is to stop doing that and start speaking with higher consciousness-based eloquence and spirit communication and all of that. So, but generally speaking, when I see Rubeus, to me, it's an influence that's coming in at you that you need to be watchful for. And not so much that it's you. It could be, but I don't think so. I think that, you're trying to keep everything above board. You're trying to see things from a higher perspective, and you see this person coming, and the energy is so different that you have to really pay attention, where you do a double take and you kind of get a little bit on alert. Somebody could be trying to con you today. And you need to keep your vision high so that you see it and you understand what's happening, and you can take steps to not allow it to happen, to not impact you, to reject it out of hand, if you will. Let's take a look at the cards, though. I did a lot of bean snapping this weekend, so my hands are a little tired, we'll say. But we have a lot of beans for next year, so that's cool. Same with the corn. Not quite done with the corn yet, but almost. Well, we have one from each grouping of the tarot. We have one from the Major Arcana, the Chariot, the seventh card of the major arcana. We also have the Four of Wands, and we have the Knight of Cups. So with the court cards, with the Knight of Cups, he's part of the court. You're looking at either somebody that you're looking at somebody that is that's going to come into your life to assist you in some way, or challenge you in some way, or something have some impact on you in some way. Or you're looking at the qualities of the knight within that you possess yourself. And with cups, you're looking at the water element. So you're looking at emotions and compassion, change, motivation, movement, things like that. Water changes things, water moves, has an impact. But then with wands, with the Four of Wands, you're looking at the fire element, and that's very initiative and creativity, and it's the spark of life. It's new opportunities. And here we'll start with the four. Well, actually, before we do anything, let's do the numerology and see if we can get kind of a direction here. We already know what the numerology is for today. We've got a run on nines, so that tells us something. That's a little bit more powerful. But we said, let's see, I said Ansu's was 4. It's the fourth rune. We also have the 4 from the Wands, Four of Wands. We have the 7 from the Chariot, and there's no number associated with any of the court cards. So right now we're looking at 15. 1 and 5 is 6. 6 is about empathy and guidance and assistance, harmony, shared path, shared direction, that sort of thing. So let's just keep that in mind, especially if we're maybe we're moving in a different direction here or something. Maybe if this is not somebody with Rubeus, maybe you're letting go of that type of interaction with people. You see that it's not really getting you anywhere. It doesn't feel good, and you're not getting a very good response from people if you're a little manipulative. And you can see the value of elevating the discourse in a way that is more higher awareness based. And so, I mean, it could be something like that, especially when you come into a partnership with people. Here you have essentially a marriage that's happening, a wedding. You see the 2 poles on either side. You see the garland above. There's essentially with 4, it's a foundational type of a rune. It's a very earthy rune number. I'm sorry, I have runes on the brain here. But it's a very earthy type of number where you're talking about foundation and structure and organization and responsibility and dependability and practicality. All of that with the number 4. And so things are changing in their lives when they get married. They're bringing in a new person into their life, and it's going to create a different structure for them, a different foundation, one that's shared. And again, when you're looking at the 6 numerology for the whole reading, there's a little element of that there. You see the castle in the background, you see the friends and family over here, and the arched bridge that goes to the castle from where they are here over to the castle to begin their new life together. And that's that's ultimately, I think, the meaning for me anyway of the 4 of Wands, is that you're coming together with intention to start a new life, to start a new experience, to maybe if you're starting a new business with a new business partner, something is happening that's going to make a shift, and you have to be mindful of how you interact with one another in terms of onsus. Are your interactions going to be purposeful and in a way that builds on the relationship you're establishing with one another? Or is there going to be some undermining going on with Rubeus? You have to be mindful that there's none of that going on to make that whole union successful. So I think maybe we have a little bit of an idea of the relationship here now between Ansus and Rubeus. It's probably not something that is where you've got somebody who's got a personal agenda coming into your life, but you just have to be careful that that's not part of the equation if you want things to be successful here. whatever new endeavor you're embarking on, whether it's a marriage or a partnership of some kind that's, that's like, say, business related. You guys both have to be on the same page, basically, be clear on what the goals are, and don't have one undermine the other with Rubius. Then we come to the Chariot, which is really a card of balance. It's knowing when to take the reins and when to drop resistance and just let go and be. Here you have the king has come back from some kind of a thing, whether it was a battle or whatever it was, and he's victorious as well. You see the yellow sky, so it sort of indicates victory. You see the little slivers of the moons there on either shoulder, and the implied one here. So you have maiden, mother, crone balance there. You have the cube here, which denotes grounding. It's an earth element glyph, if you will. You see the balance between the two portions of the castle, one side and the other. You see the two wheels denoting balance. You see the sphinxes at rest, one dark, one light. You see I used to think this was a dreidel, but it's not. It's the Shiva Lingam, I guess. But again, it's denoting the balance in terms of creativity, and fertility of when they come together in union to then create, the baby, if you will, the new life. You see the winged sun here above it. And so maybe what they're creating is healing and balance, and again, knowing when to take the reins and when to give up control. Having that type of balance, initiate versus being receptive, not really passive, but at the same time, you've got projective versus receptive, and you wait to receive or you initiate, finding some balance there of when you need to do that and when you can just sit back and let things unfold. And in a sense, in a new partnership, that's kind of what you have to do. You can't have the two people constantly butting heads all the time, because the partnership's not going to go anywhere if that's the case. And so, someone may have an idea and maybe you're not sure about it, but it's not like you think, well, okay, let's try it. That would be the receptive side, allowing for the other person to have an idea that maybe will be good for whatever it is you're doing. Whether if it's a new business, maybe there's some type of thing the other person thinks might be good for it, and you're not sure, but you say, well, let's try it. We'll see where it goes. And maybe it'll be a good thing, maybe it won't, but at least you've dropped the reins a little bit, and instead of trying to control the circumstance, you've dropped the reins and you've decided, well, I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a good thing. And if not, then you have that understanding between you. Then we need to shift gears and don't waste a lot of time doing it, especially if it's a business, because, things like that can have devastating results if you're not quick to move in a different direction. Then when you have the Knight of Cups, here you have a very chivalrous young man. Again, you see the same. If you see the winged disc, the winged sun there on his helmet, it's the same one you see here. And so with cups, again, it's our emotions, it's healing, it's balance, it's compassion. And so when he's holding the chalice out like that, his steed's about ready to cross the water there. He's basically offering compassion and support. The knights are there to help, they're to assist, they can be on a quest. But if they're not on a quest, then they're oftentimes sent out to different areas to help those areas. And so, he's just there to offer support and compassion and love, and maybe his vision, his passion. He's passionate. He's a visionary, and there's a sense of arrival. There's actually a sense of arrival with any of them, really. I think that I'm here now, and I'm here to help. I'm here to guide. I'm here to assist. And I think that's true for any of the knights in the Rider-Waite. But again, I think that approaching things in a balance of give and take, having the ability to see the bigger picture, if you will. That would be the visionary aspect of the Knight of Cups. Now, whether that represents you or your partner or somebody else that's maybe there to give you some advice. Again, even though this is a wedding here in the Four of Wands, maybe it is the formation of a business for some of you listening, and or some kind of an endeavor where you're embarking on it with somebody else. The vision that you have for it could be represented in the Knight of Cups, but it's something where you're not trying to control the other person. You're coming together in harmony and respect. With Ansus, the type of communication that you have is not, a clash of egos, but staying focused on the higher purpose of what you're doing and coming together to fulfill that, really, with Ansus. So you're looking at a sense of divinity, you're looking at a sense of eloquence, and a higher respect for what it is you're doing and the partner you're doing this with. So again, whether or not it's a marriage or some other kind of partnership, it has to be one where you don't undermine one another, that the vibration is much higher than that. Undermining is very egocentric, very egoic, and it's the last thing you really want to do when you're starting out together. You want to understand the excitement of and experience the excitement of whether it's maybe a marriage or some other partnership, the excitement of something new in your life, and how that recreates your structure and foundation of your life. Because whether it's a marriage or a business partnership, trust me, on the business partnership part, it's just as profound as getting married, because now you're meeting the needs of the business and you're trying to do it in a way that is on the same page, where you can talk to one another with respect, and not, get down in the mud, basically, and argue all the time. Because maybe if that's the case, maybe it was a mistake, right? You start thinking that way. And those thoughts then tend to lead to undermining the situation. So again, whatever this represents for you today, whether it's a marriage or some other kind of partnership, make sure that how you communicate is from a higher perspective, one from clarity and eloquence, the soul side of things, if you will. Keep a balance, know when to assert yourself and when to step back and let the other person take the reins, maybe. If it's something that happens to reflect their strength and it's not yours, then have the wisdom to sit back and watch and learn, instead of trying to get into, say, well, I don't think I should do that. Well, how do you know? You have no experience with it, right? So maybe the other person does, and so have some trust there for that, until it becomes clear that maybe it's not the right way to not it's not the right direction to take, for example. So. But again, that's being able to analyze something in a very clear and a clear way, where you step back and you observe and you don't make any judgments. You figure out what the facts are, and you go from there. And you both have to be willing to do that and not undermine the other person in the process. So again, I don't know for sure what this means, other than a new partnership of some kind is forming. And you have to find a way to interact with one another and engage with your partner in a way that keeps you going in the right direction. So anyhow. And again, with the six, it just reminds me of the Six of Wands, where you see the lord of the manor, or whoever it is. He's on a horse, so he's higher up, and everybody else is walking alongside him, but they're all going in the same direction, right? And so to me, six is a number of sharing, shared direction, shared purpose, shared opportunities, but there's a collaborative or shared aspect to all of it. And I think that that's obviously the case in the Four of Wands. This is a new opportunity. It's a new development in your life that you're excited about and you're impassioned about. And but you have to remember to approach it in a sense of balance and equanimity between the two of you. And then offer that sense of love and compassion and commitment with the Knight of Cups to one another. I think so. And if not, if it's not that, the Knight of Cups is saying, well, there might be somebody you can go talk to, and get some ideas from, and to help you moving forward, especially if it's a business or something like that. Where it might be a mentor of sorts to kind of help get you going in the right direction. People that try to start a business without having that, unless you really know a lot about it, you can really make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And if you just had that person in your life you could go talk to and say, okay, this is what this is the situation. Where do we go from here? What do you recommend? Because they've had experience, right? And so it could be something like that with the Knight. But again, it just seems to me it's what you offer one another in the partnership, that love and compassion and commitment and all of that to be able to really move forward together in a shared direction. So anyhow, that's it. That's it for Monday. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video and a little window will open up and you'll see the website address there. If you scroll down to the bottom of it, you'll see all the dreaded social media sites I'm on, and also the other places I post. And so if you want to read stuff over there, if you're used to reading Medium or Substack or Patreon or something, you can pretty much read most of the same stuff I write. I post it over there as well from the blog. But other than that, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet clicked subscribe, I'd love you to do that. And come back on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.